The end was near. The sky over the city burned red. Fires climbed through broken towers and black smoke curled into space. What was once a beautiful world full of life was now a battlefield of ash and silence. Captain Mira stood on the edge of the command deck, staring at the dead planet below. Her hands were shaking. Her crew said nothing. What could they say? Everyone knew the truth. They had lost. Millions were dead. The enemy was too strong, too fast, too cruel. The enemy, called the Dravari, came from the outer rim. No one knew where they came from before that. They did not speak. They did not offer peace. They just came, and they destroyed. One by one, the great cities of the Alliance fell. First the homeworld of the Varn, then the skies of Telos, then the oceans of Ellen. Now Mira's world was gone too. Only a few ships had escaped. The rest were gone, burned, shattered, or crushed in space. Mira's ship, the Emberlight, was one of the last. Her crew of 50 looked to her for answers, but she had none. Commander Relo broke the silence. "Captain, we've lost contact with the Central Command. They're gone." Mira closed her eyes. "That was our last base." Relo nodded. His face was pale. "We are alone." The word hung in the air like a ghost. A voice from the back spoke. It was Bren, the youngest officer. "There's one more option." Everyone turned to look at him. He hesitated. "We could call the humans." A long pause followed. Some faces turned angry, others shocked. "You want to call them?" Rilo snapped. "The humans? The ones we locked out of the council?" "They're not part of the Alliance anymore," said another officer. "They turned their backs on us. They said we were weak." Mira looked at the ceiling as if searching the stars for an answer. "They didn't say we were weak," she said slowly. "They said we had forgotten how to fight." The room went quiet again. They all remembered. It had been nearly 30 years since the humans walked away from the Alliance. They had grown tired of diplomacy, of endless meetings and broken promises. While other species focused on peace, humans had trained. They built ships no one had seen. They created weapons the Alliance had forbidden. And then, they vanished, into their part of space, silent and watching. Mira had never met a human. Few had, but she had heard the stories. About the time a single human squad stopped an invasion on Alron. About the ship called Hammerfall that tore through 3 enemy fleets. About the look in their eyes when they fought, not for power but for survival. "They may have left us," Mira said. "But they are not our enemy. They just prepared for one." "Do you really think they'll answer?" Rilo asked. "After everything?" "I don't know," Mira said, walking to the control panel. "But if we don't try, we're already dead." Bren stepped forward. "I found an old relay channel, still active. We can send a signal." Mira nodded. "Do it." Bren hesitated. "What should I say?" Mira took a deep breath. "Tell them everything is lost. Tell them we made mistakes. Tell them we need help, and tell them they were right." Bren's fingers flew over the console. A soft hum filled the room as the message was sent. Then silence. Minutes passed. Nothing. The crew stared at the screen, waiting, hoping. Then a sound, a sharp beep, a reply. Everyone jumped to their feet. Bren's eyes widened as he read the incoming message. "It's them. They heard us." "What did they say?" Mira asked. Bren turned, his face pale but hopeful. "They said, 'Stand by. Help is coming.'" For the first time in weeks, Mira smiled. It was small, tired, but real. "They're coming," she whispered. "The humans are coming." The arrival. The bridge of the Emberlight was quiet, but hearts were racing. The humans had answered. After all this time, after all the silence. They were coming. Captain Mira stood near the view window, staring out into the dark. Somewhere out there, past the wreckage, past the broken planets and dead stars, humanity was on its way. "How long?" she asked. Bren looked at the signal readout. Their message says ETA, 30 standard minutes. Relo frowned. That's not possible. They're over 12 sectors away. They didn't say how, Bren replied, still watching the screen. Just that they'll be here. Mira nodded slowly. She didn't understand how either. But this was humanity. They always found a way. Outside, the stars remained still. Ships drifted in the distance, burned husks from the last battle. No, one else was coming, only the humans had answered. Power down weapons, Mira said. Relo turned to her. What? Are you sure? Yes, she said. We called them for help. Let's show them we trust them. Slowly, Relo obeyed. The glowing lights on the weapon consoles faded. It felt strange, exposed, but right. Then the ship's sensors lit up. Something's coming, Bren said. Fast. From deep space. The crew rushed to the main display. A single dot appeared, then another, then 5, 10, 50. They're dropping out of somewhere. Not normal space, Bren whispered. This isn't warp. It's something else. One by one, the ships appeared. They didn't look like anything the Alliance had ever seen. Sharp, black, almost silent. They made no sound, no light. But they were fast, faster than anything on record. And then, the biggest ship appeared. It was massive, 4 times the size of the Emberlight, covered in dark armor. No markings, no colors. Just a name burned into its side in white. Ironheart. Everyone stared. That's a warship, Relo said, voice low. A human warship. The ship slowly turned to face them. A soft hum echoed across the comms, and a voice came through. Calm, deep. This is Commander Reed of the Ironheart, you called. We came. Captain Mira stepped forward. This is Captain Mira of the Alliance ship Emberlight. We're grateful. We didn't think anyone would answer. The voice replied, We don't forget our friends, even if they forgot us. There was no anger in the voice, just truth. Mira paused. We need help. The enemy is... We know, Reed said. We've been watching. That sent a chill through the crew. Watching? Mira asked carefully. You've seen the Dravari? We've studied them for years, Reed answered. Your fleets weren't ready. Your weapons were old. We tried to warn the Council. They didn't listen. Mira lowered her head. No, they didn't. We did, the voice said simply. A second voice came through, sharper, younger. Scans show Dravari patrols in your area. 4 enemy cruisers closing in. Mira looked at Relo. Already? Yes, Relo confirmed. Coming in fast. We can't outrun them. The humans didn't wait. Fall behind us, Reed ordered. Let us handle this. Mira's crew hesitated. Rilo whispered, Can we trust them? They came when no one else did, she said. That's enough. The Emberlight moved behind the Ironheart, just as the enemy ships entered view. 4 black Dravari ships screamed through space, fast and deadly. The human fleet didn't move. Not at first. Then, without warning, it struck. From the side panels of the Ironheart, silent weapons unfolded. Blue pulses of energy fired sharp, quick, precise. The first enemy ship exploded before it had time to turn. The second was sliced through by a beam so fast it looked like lightning. The third tried to fire back, but its shots hit invisible shields and faded like smoke. The fourth turned to run. It didn't get far. One shot from a smaller human ship pierced its engine core. It spun once, then vanished in a flash of light. It was over in seconds. The Emberlight's crew sat frozen. That was impossible, Relo whispered. They didn't even break formation, Bren said. Mira stared at the view screen. The human ships returned to formation, calm and silent, like it was nothing. Then the voice returned. You're safe for now. Captain Mira stepped forward, her voice low and full of awe. Thank you. We're not done, Reed said. This was just the beginning. Plans in the ashes. The ember light floated quietly beside the massive human warship Ironheart. The battlefield around them had gone still. The 4 enemy cruisers were gone, destroyed in seconds. It didn't feel real. Inside the command room, Mira stood facing the main screen where the face of Commander Reed had appeared. He was older than she expected. Gray hair, a strong jaw, eyes sharp and tired. The kind of tired that came from watching others make mistakes and waiting for the right time to act. "We need to talk," he said. "Now?" Mira nodded. "Agreed. Sending you the coordinates. We're bringing you aboard." Before she could reply, her screen blinked. Transport coordinates locked in. A soft hum filled the room. In a flash of blue light, Mira and Relo vanished from the ember light, reappearing inside the heart of the Ironheart. The room was bright and cold. Human tech was everywhere. Sleek, dark panels, no wasted space, everything had a purpose. Soldiers moved quickly but calmly. No fear, no panic, just focus. Reed met them at the door. "Follow me." He led them through narrow halls into a meeting chamber. A large table stood in the center, surrounded by officers. Holograms of enemy ships floated above it, glowing red. "This is what we're facing," Reed began. "The Dravari are not just a swarm. They're organized, controlled, a single mind, a command ship." Mira leaned in. "We've never seen it." "You weren't meant to," Reed said. "They hide it behind the swarm, but we found it, tracked it for years. It's behind enemy lines in Sector 9, what you called the burned zone." Relo frowned. "That place is full of wreckage, radiation, dead space." "Exactly," Reed said. "They use it as cover." One of the human officers spoke up. "We believe if we destroy the command ship, we break their network. The swarm will fall apart." Mira stared at the red dot in the center of the hologram. So simple, and yet so impossible. "You've had this plan all this time?" she asked. Reed pointed at the hologram. "You know the paths through the wreckage, old Alliance codes, safe zones. We need that. You'll guide our fleet through. After that, we strike." Mira took a deep breath. "We'll do it." Reed nodded. "Good. You'll leave in 3 hours. Get your crew ready." Mira turned to go but paused. "Why did you come?" she asked quietly. "After all these years? After we pushed you away?" Reed looked at her for a long time. "Because we remember who we are," he said, "and we never stop fighting." Mira and Rilo were transported back to the Ember Light. Her crew rushed to meet her, eager for news. "They have a plan," she told them. "A real one." Bren asked, "Are we going to help?" Mira looked around. The room. Every face was tired, scared, but still standing. "Yes," she said. "We're going into the burn zone, and we're going with the humans." For the first time since the fall of their world, her crew stood tall. The enemy had taken their homes. They had taken their people. But they had not taken their will. And now, they were going to fight back. Into the burned zone. 3 hours passed, quickly. The fleet was ready. The Ember Light took the lead, its engines glowing softly as it entered the cold edge of space known as the burned zone. Behind it followed the human warships, silent, black, deadly, like shadows of a forgotten storm. "Captain," Mira stood at her console. The path ahead was thick with debris, old ships, broken stations, dead satellites. This was the graveyard of the last Great War, the place where the Alliance had fought one of its first battles, and lost. Relo watched the screens carefully. "Radiation is rising. Shields are holding. Keep the course steady," Mira said. "We know the safe lanes. Stay close to us." Commander Reed's voice came through the comms. "Understood. We're with you." Mira looked ahead. The way was narrow but clear, for now. Her fingers trembled slightly as she guided the ship. One mistake, one wrong turn, and they'd crash into a wreck or worse, wake something up. As they moved deeper, strange shapes floated past the windows. Twisted metal, burned hulls. A ship that had once carried thousands, now torn in half. "It's like a graveyard," Bren whispered. "No, Mira said. It's a warning. For over an hour they moved in silence. No signals. No enemies. Then came the first sign. Contact, Relo said. Dravari scout, small class, watching from behind a broken station. Before Mira could speak, the scout vanished, cut in half by a single shot from a human ship far behind. They saw it before we did, Bren said. Mira nodded. They don't waste time. Soon after, more contacts appeared. 3 enemy ships, then 6, then 10. They're trying to block the path, Relo warned. Reed's voice came through again. Let us handle it. Stay on course. Mira obeyed. She watched as the human ships moved into action. They didn't scatter or panic. They moved like one mind. Tight, quick, deadly. Explosions lit up the dark. Flashes of light filled the graveyard. Human weapons tore through the Dravari ships like paper. The path cleared again. Relo smiled. We've never seen anything fight like that. They trained for this, Mira said. They built themselves for this war while we sat in meetings and signed peace deals. As they neared the heart of the burn zone, the space changed. No more wrecks, no more radiation, just silence. And then, they saw it. The Dravari command ship. It floated in the center of a wide, empty space, surrounded by a field of glowing drones. It was dark gray, almost invisible against the void, but massive, larger than any ship Mira had ever seen. Bren's voice shook. That thing. It's not a ship. It's a monster. Mira opened a channel. Reed, we've found it. We see it, Reed replied. This is where it ends. The human fleet moved into position. Ships lined up, weapons ready. Mira's crew stared at the screen. It's starting, she whispered. Suddenly, the enemy ship lit up. Drones powered on. Thousands of red lights filled the space. They were waiting for us, Relo said. Then we give them what they want, Mira said. Tell the humans we're ready. The final battle was about to begin. The fire unleashed. The space around the Dravari command ship lit up with red lights. Thousands of drones swarmed forward like angry bees, each one small but deadly. Behind them, the main ship pulsed with power. Its surface moved, alive, shifting, like it breathed. Captain Mira gripped the edge of her console. Her crew stood ready, silent, waiting. This is it, she said. This is what we came for. Commander Reed's voice came across the channel, calm and steady. All units, prepare to engage. The human ships moved into formation. Unlike the Alliance fleets of the past, they didn't spread out. They closed in, tight and sharp like the blade of a knife. The first wave of enemy drones hit the front line. Blue shields flared across the lead human ships, absorbing the attacks. Then came the counterstrike. Human weapons fired in perfect rhythm, blue beams, focused missiles, strange pulses that Mira had never seen before. Each shot hit its mark. Dozens of drones exploded in every direction, still more came. They're endless, Relo said. Like a sea. Mira's voice stayed firm. Hold the line. The ember light stayed close behind the human ships, offering, targeting data and guiding paths through the old wreck still floating nearby. Mira's ship wasn't as strong, but it could still help. A sudden blast rocked the ship. Sparks flew across the deck. Shields holding at 60%, Bren shouted. Keep moving, Mira yelled. Don't stop. Behind them, a human. Frigate spun through the swarm, firing in every direction. It exploded a second later, caught by 3 drones that rammed straight through its core. Relo cursed. They're sacrificing ships. They know the cost, Mira replied, and they're still fighting. The humans pushed forward, slowly getting closer to the main Dravari ship. But the closer they came, the harder the enemy fought. The drones flew faster. New weapons activated on the command ship. Long-range plasma beams that cut through even human armor. One of the smaller human ships took a direct hit and split in half. Reed's voice came again, loud over the comms. All units change pattern. Shift to formation Vi. We go for the core. Mira looked at the screen. The human ships began moving differently, Faster, less defensive. Now they were aiming directly at the center of the command ship. "They're going all in," Relo said. "Can they even get close?" Bren asked. Mira didn't answer. She didn't know. Suddenly, the Iron Heart charged forward, straight through the swarm. Every gun on the massive warship lit up, cutting a path through the drones. Shields sparked and burned. Pieces of hull fell away. But it kept going. "They're not stopping," Mira whispered. "They're going to ram it." The massive human warship flew directly toward the enemy's core, taking fire from all sides. Alarms rang. Systems on the ship began failing. Then Reed's voice came one last time. "To all Alliance survivors. This is for the worlds we lost, for the ones you couldn't save, and for the ones we will." Ironheart fired all its remaining weapons, in one final burst, cutting through the enemy shield. Then it hit the command ship. A massive explosion lit up the entire zone. The flash was blinding. A shockwave rushed through space, sending nearby wreckage spinning. Everyone on the Ember Light shielded their eyes. When the light faded, the screen showed the battlefield. The enemy drones had stopped. They drifted, lifeless. The Dravari command ship was gone, broken in half, burning from the inside. Rilo gasped. "They did it. They actually did it." Mira stared at the screen, stunned. They gave everything, and they won. Silence. After the storm, the battlefield was quiet. Where once thousands of enemy drones had filled the space, now there was nothing. Just drifting metal, frozen sparks, and silence. On the Ember Light, no one spoke. Everyone stared at the screens, waiting for something, anything. But there was only stillness. The Dravari swarm had stopped moving the moment their command ship fell. One by one, the red lights in their cores dimmed. They floated, powerless, like broken toys in a black ocean. "Captain." Mira slowly sat down, her legs shaking beneath her. "They're gone," she said quietly. Relo nodded. "All of them. Just like that." "No," Bren whispered. "Not just like that. The humans. They gave everything." On the screen, the wreck of the human warship Ironheart burned slowly, its body torn open from the inside. The other human, ships circled around it, damaged but still flying. Not a word came from Reed, no voice, no signal, nothing. "Can we raise them?" Mira asked. Bren tried. No reply. I think the command center was destroyed with the core." Mira stood and walked closer to the display. She placed a hand on the glass. "They knew what they were doing," she said. "They planned for this. They chose to end it, even if it meant ending themselves." Relo looked at her. "Why? Why go that far for us, after all we did to them?" Mira turned to him. Her face was pale, tired, but filled with something new, understanding. "Because they never stopped being who they were," she said. "Warriors, protectors, fighters. Even when we turned our backs, they still watched over us." A soft beep broke the silence. Bren looked down at his console. "Incoming signal from a human ship. Audio only." "Play it," Mira said. The voice was rough, damaged, filled with static, but they recognized it. "Reed, if you're hearing this, we succeeded. The Dravari are down. The command ship is destroyed. Our mission is complete." He paused. "We didn't expect to make it out. We accepted that. We trained for it. Just promise me one thing." Another pause. "Longer this time. Don't forget again. Don't grow soft. Don't wait for someone else to save you. Be what you were meant to be." The message ended. No one moved for a long time. Then Mira whispered, "We won't forget." A soft light blinked on the side screen. Reports from other sectors, all across Alliance space. "The swarm is falling," Bren said. "Their systems are crashing. The war, it's over." Mira looked out at the stars, blinking through smoke and wreckage. "It's not over," she said. "It's just beginning." Relo frowned. "What do you mean?" She turned to him. "The humans gave us another chance. Now we have to decide who we want to be." A long silence followed. Then Mira stood tall. "Send word to every surviving Alliance world. Tell them the war is done, and tell them humanity stood when no one else would." A new dawn weeks passed. The war was truly over. The Dravari swarm had fallen silent in every corner of the galaxy. Their ships, without the command, core shut down and drifted into darkness. Worlds that had once burned were now quiet. Some had survivors. Some didn't. But the fighting had stopped. The Ember Light became a symbol of survival. Not because it was the strongest ship, but because it was the one that reached out. The one that had asked for help, when all hope was gone, and help had come. Humanity, long forgotten by the Alliance, had returned when it mattered most. They didn't come to take power. They didn't come to judge. They came to fight, and they did. Captain Mira stood on a rebuilt space station in neutral space, once a battleground, now a place for rebuilding. Around her stood leaders from across the remaining Alliance, species that had barely survived now ready to listen. She spoke not with fear but with truth. "We made mistakes," she said. "We forgot what it meant to stand together. We stopped preparing. We thought peace would last forever. But peace does not last without strength. And strength means sacrifice." She paused. "When the end came, we didn't save ourselves. Humanity did." A large screen showed footage of the final battle. Human ships diving into the swarm, the Ironheart charging into the core. "We once pushed them out," she continued. "Called them too aggressive, too proud, too unpredictable. But it was that fire in them that saved us. That will to fight when everyone else had given up." The room was quiet. Then one voice rose from the back. "Where are they now?" Mira looked down. "The humans went back." A soft murmur ran through the crowd. "They said they didn't come to lead us," she explained. "They didn't want to take command. They only wanted to make sure we remembered what we'd forgotten." She looked across the room. "They left us a message. Be ready next time. Stand strong on your own." That was it. No demands, no control, just a warning and a lesson. After the meeting, Mira walked alone to the edge of the station. Stars stretched in every direction. Somewhere out there, the humans were watching, quiet as always, hidden, as they preferred. She placed a small badge on the wall, a symbol of the fallen human ship, Ironheart, carved into silver. "For those who stood when no one else would," she whispered. A new day had begun. The galaxy would rebuild. Slower, this time wiser. The Alliance would not be the same. It couldn't be. They had seen what true strength looked like, and they had learned one thing. When all hope was lost, humanity was the answer.